Welcome to Okaloosa Eye on Crime, where we have a very busy show this month.
That's right. We've got cold cases needing fresh leads to heat up, a new program called SAFE, multiple burglaries, and much more.
Getting started, we're going to go straight to the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office, where investigators are still seeking information in a decades-old disappearance involving a Fort Walton Beach teenager. It's been, in fact, 33 years since 13-year-old Andrea Durham vanished from her family's Ocean City apartment near Fort Walton Beach, and investigators are still searching for answers. Andrea was home alone the evening of February 1st, 1990, but when her mother and sister got back from a meeting, they found her purse and all her personal belongings inside, but Andrea was gone, and investigators say nothing was out of place. There were no signs of a struggle, and although many leads have come in over the years, none have provided any solid advances in the case. So if there's anyone out there that has any information on Andrea's disappearance, you know what to do. 850-863-TIPS or EmeraldCoastCrimeStoppers.com, and of course the P3 Tips app on your smartphone or tablet.
That's right. We're not going to give up on that one ever. Next up, the Walton County Sheriff's Office is investigating multiple burglaries and a stolen vehicle up in Fugitives Springs. Now, Walton County Fire Rescue medics spotted multiple subjects wearing ski masks burglarizing a vehicle on Leisure Lake Road just after 2 a.m. on January 29th. It's spooked by the ambulance. Two suspects jumped into a silver-colored car, sped away, but one of the medics was actually able to obtain a partial Florida tag and identified the vehicle as a newer Honda. Now, a flock camera alert matching the silver Honda Civic came back stolen out of Crestview, so the Crestview Police Department was contacted a little later that morning, and the silver Honda was spotted by officers but fled. Now, the vehicle was found abandoned shortly after they had attempted a traffic stop. Throughout the day, multiple burglaries were reported in Walton County, including a stolen vehicle, a lime green Ford Fiesta with a flat tire. Burglaries occurred on Commerce Circle, Leisure Lake, Michelangelo Road, and Oakwood Lakes Boulevard up into Fugitives Springs. An investigation determined the suspects stopped at a gas station on Highway 90 and US 331, where they were actually seen on camera just before 4 a.m. Subject matching video footage from one of the vehicle burglaries is described as a black male wearing a face mask, also wearing a black t-shirt with distinctive coloring on the front, a thin build, skinny jeans, and dark colored shoes. Now, a second subject was also in the stolen Honda but wasn't actually caught on camera. The stolen Ford was recovered in Fort Walton Beach later Saturday evening. So lots of vehicle burglaries going on there. Anybody that may have information, take a look there, see if you know that, and of course you can contact Emerald Coast Crime Stoppers anonymously.
I'm going to move next to another cold case, this one from Baker. We're back on January 12th of 1984. The body of 34-year-old Robert Cawthorn was found in a wooded area nearly 2 miles west of Highway 4. That's off Kaiser Mill Road near Baker. He was partially clothed, had suffered a fatal gunshot wound, and his body had been set on fire. Cawthorn's car was found behind the old cemetery on Old Bethel Road. And over the years, OCSO investigators have tried to generate new leads and hope this cold case can ultimately be resolved. So if you have any information in the 1984 murder of Robert Cawthorn, please contact Emerald Coast Crime Stoppers.
And the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office is investigating a smash and grab burglary near Fort Walton Beach that occurred early on the morning of January 25th. An alarm was received just before 6 a.m. at Metro PC's located at 824 Beale Parkway. When deputies arrived, they found the front door shattered, and the burglar had snatched multiple items from the store and left. And those are not the best photos, but we're hoping somebody might be able to provide any kind of information that might help solve that smash and grab burglary.
Next up, due to 2 recent overdoses, the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office was back to execute the second narcotics search warrant in 4 months at a nuisance home on 9th Avenue in Shalimar.
And that's right. 13 people were arrested at the home in September of 2022, and 7 were arrested in January on charges ranging from obstruction of the execution of a search warrant to possession of a controlled substance.
In this next video, Sheriff Eric Aiden explains that although attempts to clean up the property have been thwarted by a bunch of legalities, he's not giving up.
We have a search warrant for the property. Need all occupants on the property to come to the front yard with your hands up. We can guarantee your safety.
Yeah, well, I hate to say this, but the saga continues. I mean, this just continues to be a problem. It's a problem for the good law-abiding citizens that live in this community. It's a problem for the developers that are trying to sell homes in this community. It's a problem for our county commissioners that receive multiple calls and complaints on this specific residence. And so just give you, for instance, several months ago we were out here and for the same exact problem, overdoses, drug use, narcotic activity, drug sales, we did a search warrant. We pulled 18 people out of the house. We ended up arresting 13 people that day. drug charges, narcotic charges, abuse of the elderly. We contacted the state resources. They came out, thankfully took the elderly lady that lives here, who was a clear victim of elderly abuse. Her and she was taken, as well as some others that were charged accordingly with abuse of the elderly. Now we're back out here again. Just in the last week, we've had 2 more overdoses on this property itself. We came out here, did another search warrant. We pulled 13 people out of the house. Most of them are going to go to jail today, and we'll have lots of other charges. Our hands are somewhat tied. This is a homestead property, and there's certain rights that homestead people have in the unincorporated community of Okaloosa County. We're working with the county to try and maybe do nuisance abatement. We were successful in doing some of that, but again, it's hard to do that on a homestead property. There are fines being accrued every day on this property because of the deplorable conditions. There's no running water, there was no electricity, there was no food in the house the last time we came out here. Terrible infestation of roaches and other fleas and other animals in here, to the point that our guys had to wear gas masks the last time just to enter the building because of the smell. I'm sure it's no better now, but you know, again, we're going to try and charge them with every crime we possibly can to close this residence down.
Who are these people that are here? I mean, what is their connection to the property?
Well, unfortunately, when the elderly lady was living here, they had people that were technically not taking care of her, but she allowed them to move in here. When they did, some of those people went to jail, some didn't. The people that didn't go to jail invited other people to come. And so you can't evict people that are all legally authorized to be here. Such is the problem that we're in today. Again, taking 13 more people out of a small residence where people are living in vehicles, as you can see, out in the elements, with disabled cars, boats, all kinds of things out here in this yard, for us to be out here again with overdoses. We've even had deaths attributed to this home on narcotics. We got to do something. We will continue until every last one of them is in jail or away from this property.
And next up, like we always do, we have a list of wanted fugitives that we're hoping maybe you can help us track down. And they are wanted as of today's taping date, which is February 2nd, 2023. So first up is a new face to the show. That is Clint Wayne Covey. He's 39. He's wanted for felony failure to appear for 2 counts of battery on an officer or firefighter.
But we can let you know that Shauna Afterkirk has been located since our last show.
But we're still looking for 44-year-old Michael David Tennis for multiple felony violation of probation warrants, last known to live on North Beale Extension in Fort Walton Beach.
And Margaret Mary Marsh is wanted for failure to appear for theft and elderly abuse. Her last known address was on Madeline's Path in Fort Walton Beach.
21-year-old Jiron Michael McCoy. He's wanted for violation of probation for burglary as well as grand theft.
Trying to locate William Cannell Burrell. Burrell's wanted for felony failure to appear for possession of a weapon by a convicted felon and possession of narcotics. His last known address was on Hurlburt Road.
Another new addition this month is 36-year-old Casey Scott Dishmond. He's wanted for felony failure to appear for resisting arrest without violence, possession of a controlled substance with intent to sell, as well as other narcotics charges, last known to live in Destin.
Donald Joe Mitchell's next up. He's wanted for DUI and driving with a license that had been suspended or revoked.
Okaloosa deputies are still looking for Tad Keith Bowers. He's 52, and he's wanted for violation of probation on the original charge of child neglect.
Contact Emerald Coast Crime Stoppers if you know the whereabouts of Clifton Ray Edwards. Edwards is wanted for felony violation of probation for carrying a concealed weapon.
Next individual is wanted for arson. That's 39-year-old Zachary Lee Dalton.
Looking for Christian Devontae Nix in connection with felony failure to appear for fleeing and eluding, operating a vehicle without a license, and destroying evidence. Nix was last known to live on 4th Avenue in Shalimar.
52-year-old Angela Dawn Tripp, last known to live on Crown Creek Circle in Crestview. She's wanted for failure to appear for exploitation of the elderly.
Take a look now at Dustin Ray Williams. Williams wanted for felony violation of probation for battery on a law enforcement officer or firefighter.
Wrapping up our first list is Scott Daniel Sconyers. He's wanted for violation of probation for DUI and fleeing and eluding, last known to live in Destin. Well, the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office has put in place a program geared toward boosting the odds of better communication and emergency responses between deputies and citizens with special needs.
It's called the SAFE program, and it focuses on getting enhanced information on residents with Alzheimer's, autism, any type of disability where there's an emergency and an inability to communicate effectively.
We are so excited about this program because it's going to be an opportunity to assist law enforcement, EMS, fire, all emergency responders when dealing with people with special needs. For those that have a loved one maybe that's either nonverbal, autistic, anybody that might get confused, Alzheimer's, dementia, may want to sign up their individual for this program. All the information is going to be on the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office website. Our great app is going to have a link as well. Also, you'll see new flyers starting around town, hopefully, and be able to see those. And in the back is even the QR code for folks to be able to sign up and go straight to that enrollment form, because we want everybody to enroll their loved one, and they will have an option even to put a photo in with this enrollment form. So we'll also have stickers available, and these stickers can go on the back of folks' vehicles or in the corner of the house window. And so that way when an emergency responder shows up or pulls over that vehicle, or maybe even the vehicle is having a flat tire on the side of the road and one of our deputies pulls over to assist, they'll automatically know that an individual associated with that home or that vehicle is in the SAFE program. As a reminder, if you have had a loved one in the Take Me Home program previously, you will now need to enroll your individual into SAFE.
And we've got another list of folks who are hiding from the law, and we're going to start with Kaishan Danowski Campbell. Have no idea if I said that right. He's 34 years old. He's wanted for lewd and lascivious behavior and cruelty toward child.
Next up, James Clinton Brinkley Jr., who's wanted for VOP for battery. His last known address was in Pensacola.
47-year-old Justin Rafael Diaz is wanted for felony possession of meth with intent to sell, as well as possession of heroin, last known to live in Destin.
Don't have a photo available on this next individual, Kelvin Paul Michael Wise, but he's a 44-year-old white male, and he's wanted for sexual battery.
37-year-old Joseph Lee Fairchild is wanted for violation of probation for aggravated assault.
And this is David Allen Bobbitt. Bobbitt's wanted for fraud.
Next up is 63-year-old Thomas Edward Allison. He's wanted for failure to appear for aggravated assault on a person 65 or older, last known to live in Destin.
And take a look at Tobin Dean Collins. He's 64 years old, and he's wanted for failure to register as a sexual offender. His last known address was on Yacht Club Drive in Fort Walton Beach.
Daniel Robert Turner O'Rourke, he's 37. He's wanted for felony failure to appear for grand theft and criminal mischief, last known to live up in Crestview.
35-year-old Kenneth Gerard, wanted for sex offender registration violations. Gerard's last known address was Colonial Drive in Fort Walton Beach.
Jerry Daniel Beaver, who's last known to live on Boyce Drive in Shalimar, he's wanted for violation of probation for possession of methamphetamine and driving while license suspended or revoked.
And this is Coretta LaDawn James. James is wanted for failure to appear for grand theft and fraud.
And we don't have a photo of 37-year-old Michael Edward Leahy, but he's wanted for felony hit and run with injuries, last known to live on Dune Lakes Circle in Santa Rosa Beach.
David Richard Abbott, wanted for felony failure to appear for resisting arrest and possession of a controlled substance.
Deputies are still searching for 47-year-old Leon Leslie Chandler for violation of probation for driving while license suspended or revoked and possession of a weapon or ammo by a convicted felon, last known to live on Ashley Lane in Fort Walton Beach.
Unfortunately, no photo available for Timothy Tyler Turner. He's a 29-year-old white male, and he's wanted for sexual battery and lewd and lascivious molestation, last known to live on Red Barrel Road in Baker.
26-year-old Brayon J. Valenzuela Castillo, he's wanted for failure to appear for lewd behavior with a victim 12 to 14 years old, last known to live on Tyner Street in Fort Walton Beach.
And moving on now, the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office held a leadership training seminar that was geared towards honing the skills of female law enforcement officers and civilians that are working in the law enforcement community.
That's right, and nearly 50 people attended the free event here at the OCSO headquarters in Shalimar. Now, they were able to gain insights from Barbara Britt, an international speaker, trainer, and coach with the John Maxwell leadership team.
So that's my thing today. I want them to know their purpose. I want them to have their vision, and I want them to set their goals. So when they walk out of here, they have a blueprint for what they want to do, create, have, and leave a legacy with.
those are some of the things we hope to accomplish. We're real happy that you're here. We're excited about this and hope that this helps you and benefits you in your career moving forward. Barbara is a motivational speaker, a human behavioral consultant, professional coach, executive director with the John Maxwell team.
Whatever you walk in on, I want you to own your floor. Own your floor. That doesn't mean I stomp on someone else. That doesn't mean I kick you down. That means I'm looking. Is there somebody out there that needs me to smile at them? Is there somebody out there that needs me to recognize them? Because there's nobody as good as you are at it. And if you're not as good as you want to be at, well, good luck. Work on it. You have the opportunity to work on it. And that's what today is all about. If someone does not believe in you, and someone can't say anything positive, if someone can't look at you and see the beautiful creation that is in front of them, release them. Don't get mad, don't be mean, don't do anything. I just release you. In fact, they're in there now creating a plan on their challenges. They're going to do solutions. They're going to do the outcome. They're putting action steps in there, and then their data and stats. So when they walk away today, they have a true blueprint of what they want to be able to create, do, and have, not only for themselves, but for their team.
Specifically, law enforcement has historically been male-dominated. And so we want to make sure that we not only try to enhance the opportunity, both professionally and personally, for our females that work in the agency, not only the sworn, but the non-sworn as well. We have about 150 non-sworn, which the majority of them are female. But on our sworn side, we have 47 female sworn officers in our agency, representative of about 14% of our staff is female. And it's going to increase to about 16% once we get the current females that are in the cadet program over to the sworn side. But, however, we only have a few females on our command staff, and we're trying to see what we can do about enhancing their careers professionally, and also what we can do for them personally. Just, we owe it to them to try and give the best benefits we can to set them up for success. They make us a better agency, so we want to try and in turn and give them the best opportunity for success. What we do here at the Sheriff's Office, we're much more successful in recruiting and retaining females than the national average, which is typically about 13%. We're above that, and we have been for quite some time. So we do a real good job of recruiting and retaining them. My goal is that hopefully someone in that audience is the next sheriff or the next police chief of a municipality or a county somewhere.
When we first started talking, I said, I know who I want for the panel. I want you to stand up, I want you to ask a question, and I want them to answer it. So who would like to ask the first question? And I know some of you haven't, because we passed out papers with it.
When did you first learn that you needed a mentor, and what specifically turned the light bulb on?
Is a servant leader. That is what I want to be. That is what I think we should all be. And so I looked for someone who would help me grow in that way.
Just always seek who can make me better, you know, to achieve what I want to achieve.
I think leading by example, that's a big thing for me. I'm the type, I'm running towards the fire, not away from it. So I think that's important when you're looking for a mentor.
So I'm looking for someone who is willing to listen, be adaptable to learning, and is a servant leader.
For me, somebody that, you know, is going to lead other people should be approachable. You know, that's very important, but what Judge Mason said was adaptable. Because in leadership roles, you're going to run into obstacles constantly. And are you going to look at it like a 50-foot wall that you can't get over? Or are you going to look at it from a, okay, how do I get over this wall?
We all have a very important job to do, so, you know, everybody has to be accountable for their actions. We all make mistakes, and it's perfectly fine, but, you know, adapt to it, adjust it, fix it, and move on.
They are rock stars. I feel so good knowing they're out in our community, they're serving, they're on our Air Force bases. I mean, could you want for more than that? I don't think so.
And Sheriff Aiden said it was such a big success that he is hoping to make this an annual event.
All right, here comes some more fugitives. Let us know if you can help us find any of them. First up, Keyshawn D. Campbell. He's 34. He's wanted for lewd and lascivious behavior, cruelty towards a child, as well as possession of obscene material. Next one up is from the Niceville Police Department. They're looking for Michelle Alicia Fortson. She's wanted for felony grand theft and passing forged checks. Carson Ray Allen, who was last known to live on Harbor Boulevard out in Destin, he's wanted for felony failure to appear for battery of a law enforcement officer or firefighter.
Blake Gundred's wanted for VOP for grand theft, trafficking in stolen property, as well as providing false information to a pawnbroker.
35-year-old Jermaine Desmond Lee, he's wanted for felony robbery with a weapon, last known to live on West Audrey Drive in Fort Walton Beach.
I've been looking for Anjali Rochelle Johnson for quite a while. She's wanted for aggravated battery.
43-year-old Timothy Ryan McDonald, he's wanted for felony violation of probation for burglary as well as theft, last known to live on Oxford Court in Mary Esther.
Please contact Emerald Coast Crime Stoppers if you've got any information on Christine Chadwick. She's 58 years old and she's wanted for cruelty to animals and resisting arrest without violence. Unfortunately, no photograph available.
Another one that's been on the show for a while, that's 23-year-old Aisha Marie Nathan. She's wanted for failure to appear for vehicle theft, last known to live in Fort Walton Beach.
Another wanted for failure to register as a sexual offender. This time it's 57-year-old Terry James Hennesser.
Reginald Dwayne Muse is wanted for violation of probation for grand theft, burglary, and aggravated stalking.
Charles Anthony Brush is up next. He's wanted for felony exploitation of the elderly or the disabled, last known to live on Denton Boulevard.
29-year-old Mary Elizabeth Gibson, last known to live on Silva Drive in Fort Walton. She's wanted for violation of probation for leaving a scene of a crash with injuries.
Moving to the Walton County Sheriff's Office, they're looking for Eric Markel Clyburn, who's wanted for felony failure to appear, last known to live in Santa Rosa Beach.
Back to Okaloosa, and that's 63-year-old Felipe Carrera Gonzalez Sr. He's wanted for felony failure to appear for battery as well as non-payment of child support, last known to live on Earl Street in Fort Walton Beach.
And this is Timothy James Howard. Howard's wanted for larceny, resisting an officer in recovery of stolen property, and failure to appear for fraud.
Walton County deputies are searching for 45-year-old James Anthony Williams for violation of probation, for possession of a controlled substance, possession of marijuana, and possession of drug paraphernalia.
And we have 52-year-old Stephen Charles Briley, who's wanted for VOP for grand theft, as well as uttering a forged instrument.
53-year-old Tony Wayne Polland is wanted for failure to appear for criminal mischief, burglary, and theft, last known to live in Freeport.
And the Crestview Police Department is looking for Angel Lewis Trowery. We don't have a photo available, but Trowery is wanted for aggravated stalking and was last known to live in Fort Walton Beach.
26-year-old Cole Rutledge Graninger, he's wanted for violation of probation for aggravated stalking as well as burglary.
And last on the list is Timothy Tyler Turner. No photo available for Timothy, but he is wanted for sexual battery and lewd and lascivious molestation. Last known address was in Baker. Well, 34-year-old Corporal Ray Hamilton died Sunday, December 24th after succumbing to injuries from a gunshot wound in the line of duty while he was serving with the OCSO Special Response Team.
He graduated in August 2017 from Northwest Florida State College with an associate's degree in science and completed the law enforcement training program. He was nominated to represent the graduating class for their ceremony.
Before graduation, he began full-time with the OCSO, and during his 5.5 years, he received 2 life-saving awards, was a crime scene investigator, a field training officer, and he was promoted to corporal in November of 2022, and he leaves behind his beloved wife, Renee. They had been married on December 31st, 2014 in Ocala.
Now, at the request of Mary Esther City Councilman and OCSO Chaplain Larry Carter, the Mary Esther City Council proclaimed the month of January Corporal Ray Hamilton Month.
Yes, and Corporal Hamilton's wife Renee and other family members were on hand for the reading of the proclamation and unanimous vote. And also Sheriff Aiden, Under Sheriff Nix, other command staff members were there to show their appreciation for the designation.
We have a very special presentation to start out with. I have a proclamation. Corporal Ray Hamilton Month, January 2023. To designate the month of January 2023 to honor the service and sacrifice of Corporal Ray Charles Hamilton, who was killed in the line of duty on December 24th, 2022, while protecting the Okaloosa County community. And whereas the city of Mary Esther is grateful for the service and sacrifice of Corporal Hamilton. Now, therefore, I, Chris Stein, with approval of the council, on behalf of the city of Mary Esther, do hereby proclaim January as Corporal Ray Hamilton Month. I'd like to present it to Renee Hamilton, if I may.
An estimated 1,500 people helped raise approximately $20,000 courtesy a charity fish fry organized by the Dewey Destin Seafood Restaurant Group for OCSO Star Charities in honor of Corporal Hamilton at the Northwest Florida Fairgrounds.
That's right, and his wife Renee said she is beyond grateful for the outpouring of compassion, generosity, and love that she and her family have received.
I knew that if we created an environment where folks had the opportunity to show up and let the men and women in uniform, including Corporal Hamilton's family, that they care, that they would show up, and that's a true testament to this. I think every man and woman who puts on the uniform knows that they're duty-bound to go into harm's way on our behalf. I think that creates a reciprocal duty on us as the community to care for them in the event of a tragedy, to help them try to put their lives back together. And so that's what everybody's here doing, and I just about am ready to weep over it. It's really, really humbling and wonderful.
I mean, I'm completely overwhelmed and grateful for all the support the community has given us. Absolutely.
It is. It's amazing. You drive down the road in the pouring rain and we see the parking lot. It brings tears to your eyes to see how this community comes together and show their love and support in a time of great loss. But man, what a silver lining to see the love and just people just surrounding us at the sheriff's office and Renee and her family. And it's amazing. We live in a great place. I'm so proud of our community.
Now, we're only about 2 months away from our annual Emerald Coast Crime Stoppers fundraiser. That is our crawfish boil. It's going to be April 15th, starting at 11 a.m. at Uptown Station. This is something I think we're in our 11th or 12th year now. We get a very great turnout. We had to take a couple years off for COVID, but we're back. We're ready to go. We're going to have a Zydeco band. We're going to have our law enforcement partners out there, some canines. So please mark your calendars. Come on out. It's all for a good cause. We want to remind you that Crime Stoppers does not receive any taxpayer dollars, so we do rely quite a bit on donations. So April 15th, 2023, mark your calendars, annual crawfish boil.
See you there. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Okaloosa Eye on Crime.